Alright folks, we're back working. My goodness, what a mess I got. So I gotta get stuff straightened up here, and we're getting close. We've got plenty of rebar in, about, well, a little over 12 by 12 holes there. I think 12 by 12 is what I was supposed to go, but anyway, I didn't even measure them. I just set it up and done it, and there you go. So that's plenty of rebar. The smallest rebar is 5/8, but most all of it I think is 3/4, maybe a little bigger than 3/4, but it's what I had, and it was free. Anyway, all right, the pit's done. This is done. Of course, it's not any beautiful work or anything like that, but it don't matter. It's just concrete forms. So we've got it tied together here. I'm going to lay some rebar in here also, and corners. We probably may go in here with a board and put in here, and that will make it where there's no sharp corners. Now I done sharp corners on the end of the piers for the boiler, and everybody said it'd break off, but they didn't. And so we may leave it, and then, you know, worst comes to worst, we can come here with a masonry saw and cut it, or we can come in there and grind it, you know, or whatever we got to do. It's not a big deal. And as you can see, I didn't care a whole lot about this. When I needed a board, I went, you know, throw the log on the thing and sawed it. So everything here, all of the lumber was sawed, every bit of it. The threaded rod was all given to me by a neighbor years ago, and I've just saved it. The rebar was given to me by a subscriber and friend of mine, and so no money there. And you know, so we've saved a lot of money on the way. The bolts, of course, you know, come from my hardware store, which all came from a donation from a subscriber from up in Marion. I think it was Marion, Virginia. So anyway, we didn't spend a lot of money. The bricks, 15 cents a piece, and the mortar. So, you know, sometimes you can do stuff like this, and it's not the amount of money, it's the amount of work. And you got to be willing to do the work. That's the whole thing. And I've done, you know, the best job I could do. And you know, I tried not to skimp anywhere. And you know, the rebar, you know, I was going to put it in either way. I just I thought it was kind of funny because of there's so much arguing about whether rebar is actually needed or not. But I don't want it busting, and I think this right here will keep it from busting. So we're actually going to tie this together too with concrete. And hopefully we'll be ready to pour. I was wanting to pour this week, but it's probably going to be Monday or Tuesday before I pour. I'm going to call the concrete place. I want to be completely ready really before I call them, because the last time I called him, I called him about it, and he said, oh, I got an opening right now. We can be there in 20 minutes. So 20 minutes is not a lot of time to get ready. So I don't want to call him again until I'm close, just in case. And you know, we can cover it up and wait it out if we have to. But we want to make sure. Now the way that I've done these boards on the inside, pulling off with the ties will be fine. Don't have to worry about them, you know, busting out. That should be fine. This end here, we may want to do something with, you know, some big stakes down in the ground or something out on the outside of here, because we don't want it busting out. That's the only worry that I would have. We're actually going to go, I'm going to run a board down this concrete on each side, or down these bricks on each side, and run some boards crossways to help tie it together. And as you can see, we got one in here to tie it together, and just trying to cover all my bases here. And we'll have to make sure and go to the ends here and put some stakes in, and I don't mean hamburger steaks or nothing like that. Anyway, all right, so I tied the wires what they were calling 50%, and I don't know what's right and what's wrong, but that's what I done. I just I tied, I didn't tie, I tied, I didn't tie, I tied. So every other one I tied. I don't know if that matters or not, but there was a reason that they done it. I don't know why. Didn't check to find out, but that's how I done it. I think once the concrete's in there and it's dry, it's not going to matter anyway. So if anybody's worried about the size and thinks that, you know, they're too big, too small, over 12 by 12 or whatever, you're more than welcome to come measure it. Just need to wait until after I pour. Oh, one more thing I wanted to add to. All these cuts I've done with a chainsaw, so you know, they're not beautiful, straight, nice cuts, so that's just the way it is. All right. Taking a little break on this, and the whole reason is because I can't get concrete until the next week. And so I figured we'd hold off on it, and I decided, executive decision, that I wasn't going to put concrete in here. And the reason I decided that is I got to looking up under the base, and basically this is how it sits, is on the edge. I mean, there's two pieces that run across that they're only about that wide, so I don't think they're going to take that much support. So, you know, basically the base around it, around the outside of the base for the outside, about 3 inches is all there is, maybe 4. Anyway, so I put our lags in, our studs, and used the epoxy, drilled them down, done them just like I wanted them. Shouldn't be an issue there. I think I got them lined up good. We actually took a tracing off the bottom of the engine with a piece of paper, a big piece of paper, and that's how we laid this out. And now my curves are not as sharp as these curves, but I wasn't worried about that. You know, the point was I was just trying to make it curve so it would be the right width up here and the right width back here. So, you know, it's going to look fine to me anyway. So, you know, you always have to have a major screw up on everything, or I do, I guess. So I do have a major screw up. You can see the distance to the flywheel. You can see the flywheel hitting, and I can't get over far enough. I'm about 1 inch off. So, you know, it leaves me with cutting these studs off, redoing them, which you don't want to do. That'd move it all over on the foundation. I really don't want to do that. I could take the flywheel and move it out, but it's already to the edge, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut and do some brickwork to bring that in, and we'll just take about 1 inch off, a little over 1 inch actually, and go ahead and you know, hopefully I can make it look okay when I'm done, but you know, it is what it is. The good thing is it's on the inside. And a total mess up by me. What happened, we figured out what we wanted. I actually made a tracing of the base and then laid it down, and then I set everything around it. And I wanted to go outskirts of the base, and I just went out too far outskirts, I guess, you know, on the outside of the base. So it's just the way it is. But that's okay. We can live with it. We'll go ahead and get that taken care of. And I think what I'll do is come in and take it up to the edge here and cut it and chisel it. I got an air chisel, and then we'll actually grind it. Then I've got machinery grout that we're going to grout this before we set the engine down. So that's why we're just holding it here, and believe it or not, it's just sitting right where it's at, directly above. And you know, we can grab it and swing it and move it if we want to, but we don't want to. So that's where we're at, and we'll be back on this one here shortly. Like I said, first of the week we can really get back on it, and got all the rebar tied and in and done. I'm just going to stake down around it a little more here and there. I've got the 2 bolts to do up here for the outboard bearing, and I've got some staking I want to do to make sure that this don't move, and then clean everything up and get everything, you know, ready for the final to pour. And we got some bracing inside I want to do. So it's all about, you know, just bracing and making sure nothing's going to move, and we can work with it. So anyway, let's see if we can get this engine, this brick done, and I'll show you how it looks, even if it looks bad, you know, when it's done. Like I said, you know, it's over against that wall, so it's the side that's really not ever going to really get seen anyway. But you know, it bothers me, but what can you do? You know, it is what it is. I'm not going to tear it all down to restart, and learned a good lesson. And you know, you take a little more time, do a little better measuring, and you know, do a little better job. So anyway, we're about ready to get it though. All right, hopefully by tonight we'll have this thing sit down. All right, Henna Cat, you come out here to inspect, huh? Everybody's wanting to know where you're at. Henna, we've been doing. So none of the cat's been laid up in the house. It's been so hot, but my father-in-law, wife's dad, staying with us for a little while, and he's having, you know, some health issues. So he's got a little dog, and I don't think none of the cat likes the dog too much. So she's been staying out here with me here lately. But you know, it's hot as can be. So don't know how long she can stay with me, but she'll be in the house for as long, I'm sure. So anyway, we're about ready to start. We'll start cutting on this and trimming it. All right, folks, we got a start on it. So I went in 1.5 inches and I cut it long ways with the skill saw with a masonry blade. And then now I am taking the air chisel and chiseling it off, because there's no other way of doing it that I can do anyway. So I may cut another slot down the long ways, maybe with my angle grinder, because I've got a cutoff blade for it too, and I was going to use it to grind a little bit to try to smooth that out some. But I think it's going to be okay by the time we get done here. Well, I mean, we've still got plenty of wall left. It's not like we're taking that much away. It's just a shame, because I thought it looked pretty good, but it is what it is, and we'll just keep at it until we get 1.5 inches of the face off all the way down, and that should do it. All right, folks, looks terrible, but I think I'm going to face it with mortar cement. We'll see how that works out. I want to make sure the engine's going to fit down first, so that's what we're going to do now. All right. Okay, folks, we've got it sitting on it, and we're clearing the other side just like we need. And I wanted to show you too, before we get it down too far, the ribs we was talking about. You can see right there, it's not much of a rib at all, and actually it's kind of high, so I don't think it would have been sitting on that any. And then there's another one right here, and it's the same way. It's only a little over 1/4 inch wide, and it's narrow, so I don't think that was any of the actual support. There was support on the engine case from side to side, but I don't think it was any support when it was sitting. So now we've got it started on all the bolts. Luckily, we all lined up, so we've done a good job. Actually, my wife done a good job, because we held the paper up, Rich and I, and she actually done all the marking. So we've got that good. We've got just enough clearance in here, which is close, but that's what I want. So what we're going to do is we're going to grout under this engine, and then we're going to set it down. So we got to mix up some grout next, and I've never done this before, so I'm just doing it to the best of my ability here. So let's get her done and see how she works out. Okay, folks, it's on there. It's actually leveled out on the grout pretty good. I'm going to go around the edges of it with something to make it look a little bit better, because it's up a little bit high. That grout was setting up a little quicker than I wanted, but it seemed to do fine. But you know, it's 101 degrees out here, some stupid well, the heat index anyway, but it's hot. So there it is. On the foundation, and like I said, we'll do something about our mess up over here. I mean, everything looks good and it's going to work fine until we get to back here. It's close, but it's not on it. But I'm going to do some more work there. I'm going to make it look a little better. When you can't really see it, you'd have to walk around here against the wall and try to get in between it, which I wouldn't want anybody in between it anyway, especially if it was running. But yeah, my mess up, lesson learned for sure. be a little bit more careful. And like I said, I've got a little bit more cleanup to do on it, and then I'll probably just take, I'm going to mix up some more brick cement or mortar. I'll probably just cover the whole thing in mortar, and sort of like a shear wall, and it'll work out okay. It's not going to hurt a thing. So anyway, we're good to go, and we'll get some grout around the bolts, and then we'll get the nuts and washers on, and I think it'll be alright. And then we can start probably getting a roof over top of it, and then we'll go from there with you know, starting to do maintenance on it, getting it cleaned up, getting everything right and the way that we want it. And like I said, I've already run it, but we'll run it some on video here before too long, and you'll be able to, you know, actually see it running instead of just taking my word for it. So yeah, like I said, the biggest thing is I can come right off of this building and right over top of this thing and just put 2 poles, and then you know, I've got everything I need to do it, including the sawmill to cut lumber with if I need lumber. I'll probably just use steel and weld everything together. I kind of like to do that. You can, you know, just have 2 posts holding it up, steel posts, and that way, you know, I want to try to keep it open where somebody can see it pretty easy, but then have, you know, still have a roof over it. So that's the plan. So anyway, all right, appreciate everybody watching, and stay tuned. We'll be pouring concrete this coming week. All right, bye.